2019 men's soccer season, coming off a great 2018 season, record-breaking 2018 season. Coach, let's recap that a little bit before we get into 2019.
Well, 2018 was obviously, like you said, a very good season, and to do that again is obviously going to be very difficult. The goal for last season was to become the best team in school history, and we achieved that. And then, to break into the top 25 in the nation and get some wins against some of the best teams in the nation was maybe something that we didn't really plan on quite achieving that year. But yeah, the team brought into it. We signed some experienced players, and they come in and they did big things to the program, and I think we thoroughly deserved those amount of wins, and the wins against the big teams were we fully deserved them. And if anything, we probably could have won a couple more games really. And I think we should have been at the national tournament maybe last year.
Yeah. All right, let's just jump in right into this year. Looks like a lot of great returners back. Always doing a stellar job with recruiting, so I'm sure there's a lot of talented players there. But let's, I guess, go. If you want to talk about goalies first, you want to talk about forwards, and then go from whatever direction you want. So.
Yeah, sure. We started this preseason with almost the same squad as last year. We didn't graduate any particular players that played an awful lot of minutes.
Right.
There was obviously some good characters that moved on, but we returned a large group of players in the core from the team last year. If we're working our way through the pitch, obviously goalkeeper position, Miguel unfortunately has got injured in
right.
pre-season, which looks maybe not quite as bad as first thought, but he's definitely going to be out for the beginning of the season at least.
Good.
Obviously we're still returning.
Good as in he's not gone as long as we thought he was.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Obviously Austin's returned. We've got a young Antiguan goalkeeper who will be in next week as well, who will help. And then the back line, you've got the majority of the defenders returning with Donnie and Louise and Steve and Joe Minton and Jonathan Riley. So there's some very good players there in the back line. And then moving into the midfield, we've still got Eduardo and Bernardo, some very good players. And then we've got some younger players, Joe Wainwright, Corby Ring, Niall, Akivido. They've had a good pre-season. And then if we're getting into the front line, we've got Kenzie, obviously a very good player. Amgad, got a German guy called Lucas who's coming. He'll play some good minutes. He won our fitness tests. He's a very good player. And then probably one of our main attractions or key signings is our new number 9. We've got Ethan Martinez, who's from Kansas City originally. We signed his best friend Corby Ring earlier on in the spring, and I think that was a determining factor in getting him here. It was a bit of a last-minute signing, but he'll do some very good things for us as well. And then hopefully when Wallace Niamunda returns next week as well, he'll give us another option potentially off the bench as well.
Right, and there's tons of depth there because there's a whole bunch of guys you didn't say that I was thinking were pretty big members last year. Not big members, but they definitely stepped up at times. So it's probably going to be one of those that it's a good problem to have, but you're going to try to keep everybody happy and give them some playing time, and obviously figure out what starting 11 makes the most sense, and who makes the most sense coming off the bench. So, any keys to? Well, we'll come to that at the end. Let's talk about schedule. You guys have a handful of games as always before getting into that tough, hard schedule. But let's talk about the non-conference and how that's going to prepare you.
Yeah, it is obviously you've got to be strategic in how you plan schedules. We're going to play an awful lot of ranked teams. I know the polls come out yesterday, and you can see there's going to be an awful lot of ranked teams that we will play in conference. We start the season with Avila University, which is always a good game, and we always play well against them. And then we've got Olivet Nazarene, second game of the season. I think they're 19th in the nation in the first poll, so that would be very good if we could go there and get a good result. And then we've got some very tricky teams: Robert Morris, Hannibal LaGrange, and St Ambrose. They're tricky teams that can beat anyone on their day, and it's about getting the balance right and making sure that we do plan for a good conference season. But it's mostly important as well that we play the right opposition to figure out exactly who we are leading into that, and get the right balance of the opposition that we're going to play against.
Yeah. All right. Let's break down quickly the conference. You're talking about how stiff the league is. You have 6 teams that are either receiving votes or in the top 25, so roughly 6 teams in about the top 37 or something like that. So really, really tough, and obviously with Missouri Valley and Central Methodist being national finalists last year, the two of the best from last year back. So, just how do you just break it down a little bit what the conference looks like, and then how do you prepare for that?
The conference is brutally tough. There's
Yeah.
no beating around the bush, and you alluded to it there that there is 6 teams, in the national polls in the first polls that have been released. It took us an awful lot of work to get into this position now, and it is really credit to the guys and the results that they got last season. It took a while. It's taken a lot of years and a lot of big wins to get to this stage now. Central Methodists are always good. Missouri Valley are always good. Benedictine, Baker. I mean, I could keep going.
Oh yeah. And that's not even including the normal Grandview. We've been down a few years, but I mean that's a team that's been a top 15, 20 team for years, and now they're in the middle of the pack. So.
Yeah, and I think it's credit to our conference being so tough. And it's good to see that the teams do well in the national tournament.
Yeah.
It's great that they've expanded the national tournament this year. But even in our conference, you play Culver Stocktons, Gracelands, Mount Mercy's, Grandviews. It's still very hard games, and they go and beat other top teams that are nationally ranked. So it's going to be a long conference season. Every game's going to be a battle. I think any team can beat any team in our conference. I literally do mean that. But I think the top guys will generally be around the top, and for us to break into that mold last season, and the so-called top 5, I would say, was really good, and it was really great to be a part of. And the goal was to break in there again, and we recognise it's going to be hard, and we have to do things like we did last season, and new things that maybe didn't get us up even higher. So we're looking forward to conference season. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
What are going to be early on here? I mean, you're not going to know until everything flushes out, but the keys to actually getting back to where you were, but then maybe even stepping a step closer to winning a conference title, being a really, really premier team.
I think the key is to always beat who you should beat.
Right.
And that's a very easy thing to say. If we can beat every team that's not ranked, we'll be in a very good position. Because you're going to be arguably playing 6, 7 games in an 18-game season where you're going to be playing against teams that are ranked. Just say you take 1 or 2 results off those 6 or 7 games and you beat who you should beat, you'll probably be in the top 25. And the way the national tournament is this year, you'll probably be in the national tournament, regardless of winning a conference or a conference tournament. So that is our goal, and that is the keys to our success, is beating who we should be. Like I said, there's a lot of good teams. We're in that good team bracket now. Teams are going to be really scared of us. It's also going to make it a lot harder now for us because we've got a number on our back. Exactly. People are going to raise their game. People are going to want to beat us more and more and more than they ever have done before, because we've got a so-called receiving votes or a top 25 number next to our name. So it's going to make it very more challenging. The guys need to embrace that. They need to recognise what they did has got them to where they are. They need to recognise that means they're a good team, but we also need to play with a chip on our shoulder and to realise that we've not actually done anything quite on the national circuit yet.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Coach. Well, you guys start up next Saturday, Avila at home, so best of luck. We're going to keep tabs on you throughout the year, so looking for another record-breaking season, so no pressure or anything.
No pressure.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Appreciate it.